Herricks and welcome to the 2023 Fall Sports News. Let's start off with varsity cross country. In case you don't know, cross country is not the only track and field sport, but also includes running over terrain like dirt, gravel, sand, mud, and so on. In this sport that requires athletes to train and improve their endurance, let's send it off to Julian. Take it away.
Hello George, my name is Julian James Sullivan and this is Coach Caruso, coaching the boys varsity cross country. Now Ms. Caruso, I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
Question one, what inspired you to be a coach?
Well, I really love working with children. I'm a phys ed teacher and health teacher here at Herricks High School, and personally I'm also a runner, so I love working with the runners here.
Well now, why cross country out of all sports?
Cross country is a great sport for the fall. It helps to prepare the athletes for winter and spring track, and it's a beautiful experience of long distance running, and we travel and we go to lots of fun competitions with the kids.
Now, out of all your experience of coaching, what's your favorite experience in that?
Every year is filled with new fun experiences. Over the last 19 years, we've had a lot of success traveling all over New York State to the state championships, the federation championships, and fun invitationals. So spending time with the athletes at the meets is always a good time.
Now, what is one main quality you look for in a starting athlete?
With our athletes, we really looked at they're dedicated and hardworking. We have a lot of different athletes with lots of different abilities. Obviously, our top runners are the fastest ones, but any athlete that wants to come and work hard and improve is a star athlete, in my opinion.
Now, last question. How do you analyze the potential of your athletes?
We look at what we do in practice each and every day. Who's working hard and who's getting better. A lot of our best athletes we have today started off as a rookie or a beginner, but over a year or two of working hard, they've improved their times. So really, for a runner, having the mindset is the most important thing.
That sounds great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That'll be all.
We also have some players from the varsity cross country to speak with us today. Now I'll send it over to Josh.
Thank you, George. My name is Josh. This is Elliot Shim, and I've got a few questions for you here today. First of all, why did you choose cross country out of all of your sports?
So I always like long distance running as a kid, and I had a few friends joining cross country, so I decided to join.
That's great. Second one, what weaknesses do you have in the sport?
I don't think I have any weaknesses. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing to improve, and run over to someone more.
And last question, from switching from junior varsity to varsity, was it difficult? And can you explain any difficulties or obstacles to overcome with that?
It was difficult because when I switched, it was more expectation to do better, so that put more pressure on me.
All right, let's keep great hearing. I'm here with Alexander Keynes. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good.
So first question is, what does your usual warm-up look like?
Okay, so starting off, we would do 2 laps on the track, which is half a mile, and then make sure we stretch, get all the stretches in, so then you're ready for your workout.
And what are you currently doing to improve on as a player?
So I believe that if I continue putting in the work in practice and try my hardest, I'll be able to improve my performance.
Lastly, what is the relationship between you and your teammates?
Okay, so we always have a positive relationship, always trying to push each other to our best ability, always motivating each other and cheering for each other.
That's great. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Back to you, George Clark.
Thanks to both Josh and Julian for the inside scoop on cross country. Now let's move on to JV soccer. The JV soccer team has had a rough season this year with many obstacles. Now, Aaron will give us more information with an interview from the coach. Now to you, Aaron.
Thank you, George. I'm here with Coach E with junior varsity boys soccer. I have a few questions for you. Is soccer your only passion, or are there any other sports that you enjoy?
Besides soccer, I also have a passion for basketball and baseball, and I truly also love and have a passion for football and golf.
Second question, how was your first experience coaching at Herricks?
It was a great experience. Looking back, it was 4 years ago. It was COVID. We started practices. It was very cold. We didn't have a fall season because the season was canceled in the fall, so we started at the end of the winter.
What are your thoughts on the current team?
Current team? Current team, they have such a passion for the game of soccer that when I tell them we're going to do fundamentals, they go at it and just working on their game, just in general. They have worked together and worked hard, and they fought every game.
What was your favorite lines to rally up the team?
I have a few lines over the years that many of my players used on never give up, never back down. Who wants that ball more?
Next question. How does a normal day look like?
A normal day, it's truly, we try to keep to a routine. We'll get down there, we'll do our stretching, group run around the field. Then pretty much it's into fundamentals. Last but not least, scrimmaging. We like to always, as much as possible, scrimmage and end the day that way.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Heading back to the studios.
Thanks for that, Aaron. Now we're going to be moving to some of the JV soccer team players. Now to you, Eddie.
Alright, this is a junior varsity soccer, and we have Ryan Yu over here, who is a midfielder. Okay, Ryan Yu, how long have you been playing soccer?
I've been playing soccer since I was a kid because my dad liked soccer and he brought me into the sport. And it inspired me that it was just a fun sport. I wanted to make my dad proud. And it was just fun, so I just kept playing.
How has soccer affected you personally?
I feel like anytime I'm down, I like to go to the field and take my emotions out, kicking the ball and stuff, working hard.
Alright, this is a junior varsity soccer player who is a goalie, Ibrahim Hamuda. And does the unity and the bond of the team apply even off the field?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important aspects of playing soccer with your team. You also have to communicate outside of the game, so you have a feel of how your players work even when they're not practicing.
Alright. Do you have plans to play soccer in the future?
To be honest, it depends really, because as a goalkeeper, there's a lot of competition. So it all depends on what high school or what college I get into.
Alright. And what position do you perform?
I play best in goalie because I feel me, for my personalities, I'm a leader. So on the field, I'm always directing players on what they should do and who they should guard. So we have the best performance in game.
Alright. Thank you for that. So here we have a junior varsity soccer player. He plays a right back, Bryce Largo. First question. What does the team goals this season?
Get better, try and influence each other to do better, and all that.
Alright. Do you believe training and practice helps you on the soccer field, and why?
Yes, because it makes us more of a unit on the field, and it kind of combines us to do even better than we should be doing.
Alright. And last but not least, what area did you most improve on this season?
I improved on my versatility on the field. I went from right back to center mid, and then sometimes up top, so it kind of made me a little better of a player.
Alright, thank you, Bryce. That's all we have.
Thanks, Aaron and Eddie, for the latest news on JV soccer. That's all we have for today, folks. This is George Clark, signing off.
Hello, Herricks. My name is Kyle, and I'm here with your fall sports update. Up first is a great team here at Herricks, girls varsity soccer. For more on this, let's go to the interviews.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I'm here with Miss Rigo, the girls varsity soccer. How did the soccer team perform this season?
We had a more difficult season than we have in the past. We went 2, 7, and 3. So not ideal, but every game was a battle. We were in a very tough conference.
What do you think were some of the toughest parts of the season, and how could they perform better?
A big issue, we just could not score. We had so many opportunities, and we just really struggled putting the ball in the back of the net.
What was the highlight of the season?
Definitely our game against Farmingdale. Big win for us, coming off a string of losses. We won 6-2, it really felt good. It got our juices going to last us for the fights that we had at the end of the season, like facing Long Beach back to back, and for the first round of the playoffs. So that was a nice win to get us some momentum going in there.
So what's your philosophy on coaching? How do you get to stimulate your players?
I mean, I just preach hard work. I think that kind of advice goes on the field or in the classroom or just in your life. If you're not willing to do the work, someone's going to do it better than you or more than you, and that's who wins. So you always have to work hard, because how you do anything is how you do everything.
So why'd you choose specifically soccer? Like, do you have a personal connection with the sport?
So when I came to Herricks, the soccer position was open, and fortunately my boss said, we think you're the woman for the job. And I did play soccer all my life, travel soccer up until about 10th grade. Unfortunately, I was a fall athlete and wound up picking volleyball over soccer, but I've always held soccer near and dear to my heart. My sister went on to go play soccer in college. As coming from a big family, you're always each other's biggest fan for your siblings, so I always supported her at her games, just like my family supported me in my games. So it's an easy decision. Go have fun on the turf, great group of girls, playing a sport we all love.
Inspiration. What's the strongest division in your team?
So it definitely flip-flopped a lot. Some games our defense played amazing, and our offense, like I said earlier, just couldn't hit the back of the net. And then other games, they just turned it on, and we let a couple silly errors, have us get scored on. So it really depended more on the day. But I had a bunch of talented athletes in both sides.
Got it. Again, thank you, Coach. Back to you, Kyle, in the studio.
Wow, that was great. Now let's get into Herricks girls varsity volleyball. Let's go into the interviews.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm Isaac, and I'm here with Tara Krinsky. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, hi, my name is Ms. Krinsky. I teach health and phys ed here at Herricks for the past 20 years. I coach the girls volleyball team, and I'm also the director of the Friday Night Rec program. So those are some of the hats that I wear while I'm here.
Can you tell us about how you felt coaching the girls volleyball team this year?
Sure. It was really an amazing experience. We had a restructure in the off season of the conference brackets, so we were going to be competing a much more competitive schedule this year, and I was really looking to see the challenges that we were going to be facing, and I think that the schedule, met my expectations of challenge, and the girls were warriors. They fought every single game as it was a playoff game, so I was really pleased with the way that the competition went. Obviously, I would have liked to have had a stronger record at the end, but I think it gave us a lot of good information and great gameplay, which I was very excited to be a part of.
Now, who do you think had the most promise this season?
I had a lot of returning players this year, so it's really hard to just take one person and put them into that hot plate spot, but I think I have a lot of rising stars. Melanie had an amazing season, not playing as much last year, coming into the season this year with less court time for Herricks. She did an amazing job for us. Marissa Hakeem, coming in as a young player, continuing to kind of rise to the challenges and continue to work hard every single day. Samantha McCloskey did an amazing job after an injury. So I think that, it was a conglomeration of team effort, and there were a lot of contributors into that mix.
What do you do outside of coaching?
Outside of coaching, I try to spend time with my friends and family, and outside of that, I try to lead a healthy lifestyle. So I participate in endurance events, so I swim, bike, run. I try to find community events and participate in those events as well, because I'm really passionate about health and movement education, and I try to practice what I preach.
Now, could you tell us what your goal is for the next season?
Sure. I think that we have to go back to some basics and really work on getting stronger and becoming a little bit more ferocious at the net. I think those are some of the foundations that we'll need to continue to foster in order for us to feel a little bit more success. The other thing is the mindset of strength and not giving up and not giving in until we complete our tasks. So I think those are some of the things that we're going to try to work on. I think that we have, or I believe that we have a very strong, again, core returning. So if we can continue to foster team chemistry, work on some skill sets, serving, passing, attacking, and blocking, I think that we can have another very competitive season next year and continue to rise towards the top, if not take conference champion.
I'm here with Sloan Lipton of the girls varsity soccer team. What was your best memory playing this year?
I didn't have one best memory in particular. However, I really enjoyed practicing after school every day and going to the games.
So how do you manage your time during the sports season?
Well, since practice only goes from 3:15 to 5-ish, I have a lot of time after school to get all my homework done and everything I need for the next day.
So what inspired you to first pick up soccer?
I started soccer I think when I was in kindergarten, so at a very young age I was just trying a bunch of different sports, and soccer was the one that really stuck with me.
So what team do you think you should have beat?
I think we should have beat Long Beach. We had overall better skill, however they were very aggressive and the refs weren't calling a lot of calls that should have been called.
Thank you once again, Sloan. Back to you, Kyle.
That was a great segment. Well, Herricks, that's all the time we have for now. See you next time, Highlanders.
Hello, Herricks. Today we're going to be covering the junior varsity football team and the boys varsity soccer team. The junior varsity football team had a record of 2-5. The boys varsity soccer team struggled to win a game, however, don't let them fool you because they fought hard throughout the whole season. Now, I will send it over to Stevie Alessino with JV football player Ayan Sharma, who will be answering questions about the season.
So I'm here with Ayan Sharma. And Ayan, of all sports in Herricks, what makes football so special?
I think football is special because since I've been growing up, my friends have been playing football. My older brother, he's been playing football for a minute. So I think football is just a given.
You look forward to playing football in the future?
I think I do. I want to get on varsity, get a starting position, hopefully make the coaches impressed.
How do you want to impact the team?
Well, hopefully when I get the starting position, I can make a difference and, do my role and help us win games.
Last question we have for you is, what do you enjoy most about playing JV football?
I think being with the team is always a fun aspect of any sport, and the coaches always make it fun because there's always time to focus and also have fun. And then I always want to be better than what I am already, so impressing the varsity coaches, that's always something I try to achieve. Well done. Seems like JV football player Ayan Sharma is dialed in on the future of his football career at Herricks. With that said, I'll be sending it over again to Stevie Alessino with QB Yanni Dulis.
Hello, my name is Steve with HTN, and I'm here with
Yanni Dulis.
And Yanni, how much does being a leader mean to the team?
It means a lot. I get to set the bar for some of these guys. There's an expectation that I feel like we have to hit, and I want to make sure that we get it there at all times.
What are your goals for football in the future?
I hope to in the future lead the varsity team. Something I always do. But further than that, I really don't know. My goal when I came into this is not to go to college, but we'll see what happens.
If the team is down, how do you motivate them to keep going?
So there's a lot of ways that you can do the thing that you just said. Just motivate them. Speeches always work. Sometimes I give them a little slap on the helmet. Works most of the time. You get that little jolt of energy. That's all you need to go out there. Get that energy, get ready to hit, and get ready for the game.
That's really good. What are some life lessons you have learned playing football?
I say the biggest one is that when challenges come to you, it's how you respond to them. But our coaches and goalies had some distinct lines. Like Mr. Welsh said, killing the ant with a sledgehammer. Coach Graff talked about when you throw something out in the garbage, it's not if you make it or not, it's if you put it back in the trash can if you miss.
I like that. Today I'm here with Karan from the JV football team. And Karan, how do you handle playing more challenging teams?
So basically, we all hold each other accountable. If one person's late to practice, we make sure we all run, we all punish each other, and if we have to get down on the field on time so we can practice as hard and push each other to be the best of the best. And we also have to get our minds right. I like having off-season practices, making sure everyone's at the off-season practices so everyone knows the plays. And we have all our plays ready, and in the first week of camp, we just make sure everyone knows the plays and we go straight into live hitting.
The last question we have for you is, what position do you play and why do you want to play it?
I play guard, and I like to play that position because I get to hit people and I get to pull and put people on their backs. I also play defensive line because I get to go sack the quarterback and get tackles for loss.
So you like hitting?
Yes.
That caps off the JV football players. Now we will send it over to Kostas Daphnos with the JV football head coach, Coach Webster.
Amazing interview. Seems like we have great things on the way for Herricks football.
I'm here with Coach Webster, the JV football coach. We have a couple questions about the team and how you prepare.
Okay.
What is the team's preparation typically to play?
What we do, really, any given week, I try to do enough cardio for 3 or 4 games to prepare for one game, and do enough physical activities to cover 2 or 3 games to cover for one game, and learn as many plays correctly as possible. Notice we got a little smile there. Most of all, I like to make it fun.
Team to play.
So my advice to young athletes and players is always work hard, be a student of the game, you never want to quit, and don't be afraid to fail, and most of all, have fun.
There's some challenges of coaching.
The challenges of coaching sometimes is trying to keep it fun. You know, some things that we need to do are repetitious, but they need to be done. So finding new ways to get that work done is challenging.
You look for in a player?
I look for coachability. Are you open to new ideas? Commitment. Are you committed to the sport? Desire. Do you want to be there? Athleticism. Can you be physically dominant, or at least try to be? And passion. You know, you have to love the sport. Someone just like Coach does.
Makes you want to do this?
Well, it's my favorite part of the day, to work with you guys, to work with the student athletes. It's a lot of fun. I get to work with young people, so that breaks up my day. And I enjoy teaching you guys what I know, what I grew up playing, and I just love it. It's fun.
Thanks Kostas and Coach Webster for the amazing interview. That wraps up the content for JV football. Thank you for all the athletes and for their time. Now with the varsity soccer. Their record not showing who they really are. They fought hard the whole season and are looking to improve for the next one. Now we're going to catch up with Braden Haas with the players from the Herricks varsity soccer team. We will bring it to you, Braden.
I'm Braden Haas here from the TV studio, and I'm here with boys varsity soccer player Robert Fafetta. So Rob, in your opinion, what does this soccer team look like in the future?
We have some kids on JV who I think can be a crucial part in our team in the future. We also have a lot of kids in the middle school who play soccer, and I think they have the desire to win. But yeah, I could see us having a big future sometime in the future in a couple of years.
How do you plan to improve for next year's season?
For next year's season, I hope to get off-season workouts in, playing more with our teammates, getting a better bond, chemistry. Also, just working hard in the off-season and tryouts, and hoping to do more like technical work with our players and the younger kids. In my opinion, I believe that we should play a 4-2-3-1 because we played a bunch of different formations last year and we ended up not winning a game. So I think we should switch it up, and I think with a 4-2-3-1 it will help build us as a team by moving forward, playing in the midfield, and moving down.
I'm Braden Haas here from the TV studio, and I'm here with boys varsity soccer player Robert Fafetta. So Rob, in your opinion, what does this soccer team look like in the future?
We have some kids on JV who I think can be a crucial part in our team in the future.
I'm Braden Haas from the TV studio, and I'm here with soccer captain Christos Kateas. How long have you been playing soccer, and how has it impacted your life?
Well, Brandon, I've been playing soccer for the last 12 years of my life, and really it's taught me a lot of lessons, and I've built some of the best friendships I've had from it. For a lot of years, a lot of training, a lot of practices, days, game days, everything, a lot of mental and physical pain. It's really taught me a lot of skills and how to be an athlete and also a good person. I've met some of my best friends while playing soccer, and I still have future connections with them as well.
Overall, great interviews with the boys varsity soccer team. A lot of valuable information about the boys. Looking forward to seeing them improve next season. It's only up from here. To all the athletes and coaches at Herricks for their time. And to you guys, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the show. I'm Austin Dar in the TV studio signing off. Thank you for watching.
Good morning, Herricks. Welcome to the Herricks Television Network Sports segment. Today promises to be an exciting one as we delve into the world of sports, featuring our talented varsity badminton and varsity volleyball teams. We have an action-packed show in store for you, complete with interviews and insights from the coaches and players who make these teams shine. First up, we'll be sitting down with Coach Weinberg, the seasoned leader of our varsity volleyball team. He'll be sharing his thoughts on the team's progress, strategies, and goal for the season. We'll get an exclusive look at the hard work and dedication that goes into shaping our volleyball champions.
So I'm here with Coach Weinberg.
Hi, nice to see you.
All right, so one of the first questions I have for you today is how does it feel to watch your players grow, like their game?
It's tremendous to watch players grow. I mean, I've been coaching a lot of these players since their freshman year, and our team has come such a long way. When a lot of these seniors were sophomores, we were in the lowest ability division. We won that conference. Last year, we were in the middle ability division. We won that conference too. And this year, we were in the top ability, and we were competitive with all the best teams in the county. So we've definitely grown as both a team, and each individual has grown along the way as well.
Oh, that's great to hear. Who are some of the most talented players you had this season?
So we had actually 3 players named to the all-county team. Those players were Evan Liao, Shreya Stott, and Brandon Moy. On top of that, Devin and Dylan Lee were both all-conference players. So, I mean, those 5 guys pretty much solidified our entire offense and defense on our team.
All right. How do you determine how good a player is or their potential?
So it's tough. I mean, and definitely during tryouts we sometimes miss some things. But the important thing of trying out a player is to look at all aspects of the game. For example, there are some big players, big guys who aren't really good at passing. There are some really good smaller guys who are good passers that aren't good at hitting. So it's really a very specialized game now, volleyball. So we try to look at every single aspect of the game and then try to figure out which skills would work best within our team framework.
All right. What's been your how do you feel about your team this season?
So our team was obviously very successful. As I mentioned before, we've gone from the lowest ability to the middle ability, and now we're at the top ability. This season our record was 11-5, which was not good enough to win the top conference, but we were the 3rd seed in the playoffs. We made it all the way to the county semifinals before unfortunately losing to the eventual county champ, Syosset. So I would rate that as a pretty successful season.
All right, and the last question is, where do you think your team has most improved this season?
I think definitely in communicating and working together as a team. It's something that we've been trying to improve for years. And finally, we have players really working together, communicating on the court, knowing what their roles are. And as a team, we definitely do better than as individuals. And I think that's a big part of our team's success this year.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Now, we've also got Coach Risi from the varsity badminton team in the studio. Coach Risi has a wealth of experience in coaching badminton, and we can't wait to hear about the team's preparation and what sets them apart in the world of high school sports.
Well, I actually played when I was in high school, all 4 years, so that was how I first got involved. So then I was really excited when I saw that Herricks was looking for a badminton coach when I first started working here.
Interesting. And could you describe your childhood experiences with the sport?
Well, in high school, it's probably some of my favorite memories being part of that team. I made some of my best friends on the team, and I vividly remember my coach. He was amazing, so it was just overall one of the best experiences that I had in high school, and I'm happy to be able to be a part of it here.
How do you feel this school differs from other schools we compete against?
Well, this year we were very successful. Our team won the conference, so they're conference champions. And one thing that stood out to me, which I actually had a hard time with at first, was when they would play against other teams, and sometimes my athletes would come off the court and I would question, the score, why it was so close perhaps, but the athletes would say that they would prefer the other team to have the chance to play their best as well. And that just really stood out to me because I felt like it would show their positive character and their sportsmanship, and even the way that they complimented their opponents too. Like sometimes if there was, a drastic gap in score, they would still always be extremely complimentary, complimenting their defense or whatever it was. So I love that about all of the teammates, just how complimentary they were, and their level of sportsmanship was really outstanding.
What have been experiences with working in other schools in comparison to Herricks?
I mean, that probably relates to, I think, what sets them apart because other coaches have also approached me about it, saying how they would vote for, one of our team members for a sportsmanship award or something, just because they were so kind and open to the other opponents. I felt like sometimes they just walked out as friends and rather than like enemies at the end of a game. So I think that's what kind of made them stand apart from the other players is just, the fact that they were there to help other people be successful as well.
And how do you ensure your players follow proper sportsmanship, like you've mentioned?
I feel like I don't even need to. they kind of just do it naturally. So, I mean, I'm really lucky that it doesn't even take that much on my end to promote that. It's just kind of part of who they are.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
In addition to our coaches, we'll be hearing from 3 standout players from each team. They'll be offering their personal insights into the challenges and triumphs of their respective sports. From intense rallies on the badminton court to the spikes and blocks in volleyball, you'll get an inside look at the determination and teamwork that drives our student athletes to success.
Hello, here we have Aaron Chu from badminton. Tell me, why did you choose this sport?
So I actually chose this sport because it doesn't really need height, so it was really suitable for me. Yeah.
What keeps you going and motivates you to continue?
Definitely a sense of accomplishment and validation of my sport. Yeah.
And what sets this sport specifically apart from all the others?
So this sport is really, really fast paced, and you really need good footwork in order to play this sport well. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm William. I'll be interviewing.
Micah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So one of the questions I have for you is, how do you deal with losing? Like, how do you feel like when you lose? Do you feel well or?
For me, during games or our team as a whole?
During games, after games, how do you feel?
I think like, for me personally, losing like it's frustrating because most of the time we know that like deep inside, like for the games that we play, we know that we could win. So it's like, I guess it's like a wake up call that, oh, you should focus more in your game and like have more grit and like endure more. So I think like losing, it sucks, right? But it gives you motivation to actually want to do better in the next game.
All right. How do you deal with it after a game? Like, I know how you feel, but how do you deal with it?
How I deal with it?
Like, how do you like cope with it, or I would say?
For me and our team as a whole, like, I could give an example. We lost one of our like biggest games on Great Neck North, which basically almost like kind of knocked us out as number 2 seed. So we could have lost the season. But after that, we knew that we had to like bounce back because we knew after playing them once we had experience and we know what we're up against, and we knew that we could easily beat them, finish them out. It's how we deal with it is more practicing, I guess, and like determination, and just having a right mindset that the next time we face them, we'll definitely bounce back and beat them. So we want to come back stronger.
Now one last question. What do you give advice to any like new players that maybe they didn't experience this type of losing when they're in middle school? Like, what would you give to them advice?
Losing. I mean, I think losing is a great way to actually help you get motivated. It's like counterintuitive, right? But if you are able to learn from what you like experience in losing, you're able to turn that into a greater victory than if you. So let's say I started like when I start playing, I keep winning. Right?
Yeah.
And then I lose one game.
Yeah.
I probably, or maybe other people, will not be able to deal with
the pressure
of losing ever again. But if you have like probably some wins, some loss over the time, you're able to keep focused and just say, okay, how can I do better next time? What can I do? So I think, try. If you win, that's great. Keep learning from what you're doing well, right? if you're losing, that is also fine too. Keep learning what you're, keep like improving on like the mistakes or like the problems that you did in your gameplay, for example, and try to learn from there as a starting ground.
All right.
Hello, Herricks. Today I'm here with Evan Lee.
Hey.
So the first question I want to ask you today was, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself, what would you tell your past self about this sport?
I would tell myself to just really embrace it, like embrace all the opportunities that give me to both meet new people as well as to make myself better as a player and as a person by interacting with like my teammates and making bonds that are really worthwhile.
For the second question, how steep do you think the learning curve is when it comes to volleyball?
It definitely increases more as you play more, probably, because like as you first start learning it, it's like can be pretty challenging. It's like a pretty like unique sport in some ways. But as you start going, it's way easier to start improving fast, especially as you like get help from other people too.
And for the final question, what factors do you think go into making a great player?
Definitely hard work and discipline make a player great. And make them better at their sport. But it's also their personality and like their how well they can interact and work with others, especially for volleyball, because it's a team sport that requires a lot of communication, and I think that's a really important factor.
See. Okay, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bula Kachanis, and I'm here with
Evan Lee.
the captain of the varsity volleyball team. We will be asking you a few questions today. What is your favorite thing about the sport?
My favorite thing about the sport, especially at Herricks, is the people I get to play with. I get to play with all my friends, and I get to meet new people. And one other thing, obviously, is winning. That's one of my favorite things about this sport.
What's the worst thing about the sport?
Losing.
The second question we have today is, what is your weakness in the sport?
I feel like my weakness could be my attitude. And during the games, sometimes I get frustrated with myself and my team if we're not doing well. And sometimes that will like bring our like team morale down, and we won't even be playing better after.
In what areas do you think you mostly improved in the sport this season?
I feel like this season, one thing that I improved on is the way I understand the game. This year, I was able to help my coach on like putting out different lineups and like thinking what I think is best for the team and what we should be doing moving forward.
Well, thank you for being here today, Evan. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, Herricks. Today I'm here with Dylan Lee.
Hello.
And I will be asking a few questions of being on the volleyball team. For our first question, what do you think is the most important thing to tell a beginning player?
So like for a beginner getting into volleyball, I think overall something really important is definitely like mentality, because like a lot of sports, volleyball is a very like mental game, and it also is a big factor when it comes to how you approach like every point in a game, or when it comes to how you approach improvement and getting better, and most importantly probably like how you approach like failure, since like you're bound to lose a lot of points in volleyball, so it's about getting past like failures and like being able to make up for it in the next like play.
Okay. And for a second question, how many hours can a volleyball player put in at the beginning of his career before you can see some real improvement?
I think volleyball, like it comes a lot with just over time and experience and just getting used to the sport, getting used to, like playing with the volleyball, playing with other people, playing on a team. But definitely like at least like a couple hours a week, more or less, so you can try to like stay consistent with it and like you can steadily see improvement. But as long as you stay consistent and you practice a lot, you work hard, you'll see improvement.
And for a final question, how fast do you think you could improve in volleyball?
How fast can I improve? Well, I think like similar to what I said before, it definitely comes a lot with like experience, but like definitely it comes to how you approach your practice, your style of practice, like how you practice translates into how fast you improve and how well you play in games. So if you focus on like you do like everything you're supposed to do, like including good technique or like stretching and like the correct exercises, then you can definitely like improve pretty fast if you set your mind to it.
Okay, thank you for your time.
No problem.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed learning about our teams and their coaches and players, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Hello, Herricks. My name is Savas, and today we will be covering a portion of the Herricks fall sports season. First, we have Joe and Patrick with some of the varsity golf players and coaches.
I'm Patrick, and today I'm here with Coach Capassa.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, what do you think is the biggest aspects of this season?
So there's been a lot of pinnacle moments this season. I think when you look at the team as a whole, if you look at our conference, we had a lot of challenges out there. And time again, our players rose to the challenge. In fact, we actually finished 7th in Nassau County this year with a chance of making playoffs.
And who were like the key stars that we should look out for? Rising that gained the
It's a great question. The first thing I want to tell you, it was a team effort. But we did have 3 players that actually managed to qualify for county. So Gabriel O led the team in scoring, and he was 12th in Nassau County. He was also co-captain along with Jake Moon, who was another co-captain, and he finished 20th in the county. And Brian Cow, who Herricks, listen for that name. He's an 8th grader. This was his 2nd year on varsity, and he qualified for counties. So it's a team effort all around, but we had a number of players who really stepped up, and they're making their name in Nassau right now.
That's a lot of people to look out for. Now, what do you think makes an excellent golfer?
Such a good question. So when you look at golf, it's not like football or soccer where you're drawing up plays. You have to be active physically, but mentally you got to be sharp. When you're lining up for a 5 or 6 foot putt and the match is on the line, you got to be mentally there, and you can't be thinking about what's going on in school or your day to day. You have to be there physically and mentally, and it's a challenging game, which can be very frustrating, but can be also very rewarding too.
Now, how do you instill that mindset on your players?
It all goes back to fundamentals. It also, we always like to preach, however you practice, whether it's on the range, on the course, you want to be practicing and simulating that match. So maybe we're simulating holes, or maybe we're, just trying to have high stakes opportunities for the students. Maybe not so much every day in a match, but, instilling that in practice and putting that pressure on and letting them know that there is some pressure here. It's going to be tricky sometimes.
And has those struggles shown towards the beginning of the season and throughout the season? Has that improved?
Again, team effort. You really see how the team comes together, and whether we're on the bus together in practice, you see the team come together, and they don't want to just win individually. They want to win as a team. And again, I'm going to keep bringing that back. As we finished 7th in Nassau. 7th. We made playoffs 2 years ago. We just missed last year. We're in the running again. So as a whole, Herricks Golf, people want to play here. You look at the community. I've got a lot of community support. I have a lot of members of the community contacting me, even going to the middle school because they want to be involved. And that's the one thing I always try to get as many students, even if you don't have that much, experience playing golf. Maybe you were a hockey player, maybe you were a baseball player, but it's such a great opportunity because golf is such a good sport. And as you get older, you don't really have those opportunities to play in baseball leagues or football leagues, but you know what's there? Golf.
Now, as a golf coach, who inspired you the most?
It is cliche, but my dad. Still to this day, I'm very, very lucky. We still get to get out and play some golf, but that's the one unique thing about the sport. I could be out there with Herricks students, or I could be out there with people who are a little bit older, and you could be as competitive as possible. You can have some fun out there, and whenever you're at the golf course, it really transcends age. You can be competitive and have fun with people of all levels, skill levels and ages.
Thank you very much, Coach.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Hey Herricks, I'm Joe, and I'm here with Jake. Jake, you'd like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Jake. I'm played for golf for 4 years. I was a co-captain, and this season, I placed 20th in Nassau. And I've made the county tournament in May. Looking forward to that.
Wow, there you go. That's some good stats. So, how would your teammates describe you, and how would you describe your teammates?
You would describe me as a leader. I mean, before matches, I always have this talk with them and say, don't give up. If you have a bad shot, always think about the next shot that's going to be a good one, and never just fail to give up or don't be stressed. It's like a hard thing to do in golf.
That's what a leader does, right?
Yeah.
So, after giving such an extensive detail about your teammates, how do you keep them positive after a tough loss?
You know, we just gotta keep talking with them. I mean, no one's really stressed out a lot after a match or loss. We just always discuss with each other what we have to fix when we're at the range. We practice our strokes, our shots, and just like keep looking forward to the next match.
Really like that. So tell me, you've given a lot of advice to you and your teammates. What are some good advice that you got from your coaches over the years?
Well, my coach always told me, always go to the range. I mean, when you have the time, just practice. And maybe sometimes YouTube could help you look at other people's swings, helps you out. And then just like always, I always say this: keep positive and never like be negative on the course. Like even in a match, like if you have one bad shot, it doesn't matter. There's always another one.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely a tool, but
Yeah.
no, I definitely get what you mean. So, as from what I can see, golf is very team-based. So do you guys have any like pre-game or post-game stuff that you do to like hype you guys up?
I mean, for pregame, we listen to music on the bus. I mean, everybody's engaged, having fun, just talking to each other while we have music and just talking about the match. And then after, we usually we talk about what our mistakes were, what we could fix, and then we also listen to music too.
Gotcha. Now, kind of to wrap things up here, why is golf your favorite and the best sport at Herricks High School?
It's my favorite because it's independent sport. It's like you don't have to always depend on somebody else to pick you up. It's all about you. And I also I like to play golf because it runs through my family. We all play.
Gotcha. That's really awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Jake. I really appreciate it. On to the next segment.
Hi, I'm Patrick, and today I'm here with
Gabriel. I'm the co-captain of the varsity golf team. This year I placed 12th in Nassau County, and I'm really excited to be here.
What do you believe is one of your biggest weaknesses, and what do you do to improve on?
You know, I believe that one of my biggest weaknesses in golf is putting. That's one of the toughest things for me personally because it's one of the most stressful parts of the game, even though it's not one of the most difficult. It's just the ability to be able to read the putt and make the right distance decision. It's probably one of the most difficult in terms of judging it and gauging the distance. Like when you're driving off the tee or hitting it from the fairway, it's a lot easier mentally because you're far away from the hole and it's like, yeah, I just need to hit this clean and put it on the green. But when you're putting and you've got like 5 feet, it seems a lot longer. So it's definitely tougher to putt consistently with the right mechanics and stuff like that. To improve on that, I just go to the range a lot and I spend a lot of time on the green, making sure that I read the right putts and making sure that I have the right swing or the right path for my putter, that I get enough distance and the right aim on it.
And have you improved on that over the season?
I think I have. Just working on it a lot and making sure that I do the right things for the right distances at the right spots on the green. Yeah, just working on that helps me a lot. I think it's the mentality for me because golf is all about up and downs. Like you can hit one really bad shot and then hit 2 really good shots and finish out the hole strong. So I think it's all about the mentality. Like I'll have a bad hole once and then I'll think to myself, man, that was really bad. But I can take the next 2 holes and improve on what I messed up on the previous one, and I can make up for my mistakes.
And what is your favorite sport and why?
It's either between golf and baseball. They're both very different. One is an individual sport, the other one's a team sport. I like golf because it's a lot more individual and I can work on my own strengths personally, and on the golf course it's just me in the hole. But for baseball, it's all about the chemistry and like meeting new people and building those relationships, and that's also a great thing for me too.
And how long have you been playing golf for?
I've been playing golf for about 5 to 6 years now.
Do you have any coaches or players that you look up to as role models?
It sounds really cliche, but I look up to Tiger Woods a lot. You know, his work ethic and what he does on and off the course to make himself better. And he doesn't let his outside life or his personal life affect his golf life and like how he performs on the golf course. So yeah, I look up to him a lot.
And what makes golf the best sport at Herricks?
You know, people might say that it's not a team sport, so you can't build a lot of relationships, but it's a golf team, not a golf club, or however people might look at it. And there are people on the team that you can really build strong relationships with, and like people who are seniors when you're an underclassman
Thank you. Tell me, Jake, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, roughly?
5-10 years, I see myself working on Wall Street, specifically in the corporate finance sector. I've been always interested in finance, and that's what I want to pursue in college and after college.
Okay, so how does that kind of relate back to golf in a sense?
It really affects golf because a lot of business deals are done on the golf course. A lot of big companies, their CEOs will meet, have a run of golf before they make a deal. So that's actually the main reason I went back into golf, was to get that aspect and maybe learn, and just get good at golf, so it can help me in the business world. And also it just ties back into just really loving the sport.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming golf is the only Herricks sport you play?
Yes.
Or at least for the fall?
Yes.
What are some of the weaknesses that you have?
Some of my weaknesses is that I get frustrated in the course. It's going to be a long day and we're playing 18 holes, or it's late at night. By the end of it, I'm just kind of out of it, and I'll just get frustrated with myself, and then I'll end up doing poorly in the end because I'm getting frustrated with myself and each and every hole.
Okay, so on the flip side, what are some of your strengths?
Some of my strengths are that I can stay focused. There's a lot of distractions on the golf course, whether it be your teammates, your opponents, anything going on. So I can stay focused, usually throughout the match.
Kind of relate back to teammates, like what you said. How are your relationship with them on and off the field? So do you get along with them, or there's some people you dislike, some little harsh disagreements you have?
I pretty much get along with everyone. I mean, I've known these guys, playing with them for about 3 years, and some of them graduated, but some of them I've known and played with for years. So we have a great relationship on and off, hang out a lot. And yeah.
Gotcha. You mentioned some of them graduated. Does that mean you look up to some people? Are there any fellow classmates or any actually professional athletes of the sport that you look up to?
Yeah, I look up to my good friend Jason Eggery, who's in college at University of Miami. He plays golf there. Yep. And he's also involved in business, so I look at him as a close friend. And then business, I look up golf. I look up to John Daly. He's a great golfer, and he has the aspect of he can just relax on the golf course, and he doesn't really put too much pressure on himself.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
what
like that aspect.
makes him so good, right? That he has that like kind of laid back type of attitude that not that he doesn't care, but he's just trying to have fun. While all these people are taking it so seriously, he's kind of dialing back.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, that's all the time we have here for this segment, Jake, and I really appreciate you coming.
Great.
Back to the desk.
Thank you, Joe and Pat. And now we have Raven and Tommy on varsity football with.
Hey guys, my name is Tommy and I'm here with Coach Formicelli, assistant coach on the varsity football team. So, Coach, how do you think the team has changed overall this season? I think we really came to our own later in the season, kind of established ourselves as a running football team. Had some pretty big successes in the second half in terms of offense and defense. So I think we've definitely improved this year compared to years previous. That sounds good. Okay, Coach. So, who has been the biggest pieces towards the team's success this year? Offensively, definitely Ethan Tran and Aziz Cameron. They contribute to 90-95% of our touchdowns offensively. That's a lot. Defensively, Connor Griffith leads the team in tackles. Joe Manfredi had a great season for us. Defensive side of the ball, Samir had a couple of turnovers, so some big contributors from our guys there. All right, Coach. What do you think you can improve on next year for coaching? Next year, trying to put together some complete games from start to finish. I think this year we had some really good performances against Roslyn, Sewantica, MacArthur. Yeah. But next year we really want to start to compete with threshold teams like Long Beach or Calhoun, where if we want to achieve our goal and make the playoffs, we gotta be able to compete and beat some of those teams. Yep, gotta work hard and train hard. Who are some rising stars in your varsity football team that you can name right now? I think we're pretty fortunate next year to return a lot of our junior players. Offensively, we got Aziz Cameron back, who is really a key piece for us this year. Next year, we expect even more productivity. Defensively, we get a couple of our guys back. Enzo Peralta comes back as a senior. He's been a varsity player for some time. He should be able to be a standout on the defensive side. Yeah. Offensive line, we get Huey Santosis and Jason Tharabaj back, two key guys. Not that they're experienced, should really be able to work together and make our life a little bit easier up front. Okay, sounds good. All right, last question, Coach. What inspired you to be
coaching varsity football?
Well, I grew up playing football. Played from about 6 years old until I graduated high school. It's a great experience. I think it's a great opportunity for young athletes to grow and work together. And what's really inspiring at Herricks is how much the community really, at times, kind of surrounds that football team, right? Homecoming is always a really big game for us. It's amazing to see the community kind of come out and support us at that level. Even this year with our MacArthur game, where we had the opportunity to end the season with a really big win, people showed up and showed out. So it's been really awesome to be a part of it, and I'm hopeful to continue to be a part of it.
All right, that's a nice story. Thank you. Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Raven, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Kenneth, and I've started at outside linebacker for the Herricks football team.
Alright. What do you believe some of your strengths are on the football field?
I believe some of my strengths as a player on the field are definitely my physical strength, as I've been in the weight room since 7th grade, and my running ability.
Alright. What do you believe some of your weaknesses are on the field, and what are you doing to improve it?
I think some of my weaknesses are definitely my experience level, as I only started playing midway through 8th grade. Some players have been playing since they were way younger, and I think to improve that, I just had to play this more and be more involved in it.
Who do you believe is your role model in the sport, such as a coach or an athlete?
As a coach, I think my biggest role model was definitely Coach Davis. He taught me a lot about the defensive side of the ball, which is the side I play on, and how to be a better person overall.
Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Tommy, and I'm here with
Troy. I play varsity football, and I also play lacrosse and basketball.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. So today we will be interviewing Troy, who's on the varsity football team, and we will be asking him some questions. All right, Troy, so what do you believe you have that makes you a great athlete?
I think some of my top strengths are my speed and my mental play of the game.
That sounds good. I like that. Next up, why is this your favorite sport to play, and why?
I like it because all our teammates are like one close family. The commitment is there, and it all comes together during the season.
Oh, so then why are you so passionate about the sport?
Passionate because I wake up every morning, I'm ready to go because I love my teammates. It's a fun sport.
I agree. All right, so last question. What makes your sport the best sport at Herricks High School, and why?
Our homecomings are very packed, Everyone wants to watch us.
Yep.
Even though we're not the best, we work really hard all season.
You gotta train hard, right?
Yeah.
Just for the big games?
Yeah.
I agree. All right, thank you, Drew, for helping us with the segment.
No
And
problem.
this is where we conclude the interview. Back to the desk.
And thank you both, Raven and Tommy. And that's the end of your announcements, Herricks. Thank you for watching HTN Sports, and see you next time.
Hello, I'm Nick Tomeo.
And I'm Jake Johnson. This is the Herricks Sports segment on girls JV soccer.
The team won a solid 7-1 this year, but there's room to improve. Here's some words from Coach Bazelia on how his team performed last season. All right, so I'm here with Coach Bazelia of the girls JV soccer team. How are you, Coach?
Very good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. Also, my first question for you is, what made you decide to coach girls with JV soccer?
Well, soccer, I've always been a fan of the sport, and 17 years ago when I first got hired, Mr. Patrica asked me if I'd be interested in coaching it, and I jumped at the opportunity, and been very, very happy that I made the decision to go forward with coaching the team.
So just a follow-up question. What strategies are you trying to teach your players?
I mean, the main thing is we want to talk about, teach them about player development, and execution of the fundamentals of the sport of soccer. As the JV coach, we're always looking to try and get as many girls to be productive members of the varsity program.
Yep.
So, a lot of technical and tactical stuff we talk about, and then hopefully that will translate as they get older and move up through the ranks.
Sounds good. So what has been your best win this season to help accelerate your team's confidence?
Best win was against Long Beach. It was a very close game. We were on the road, actually. It's an hour ride to Long Beach. Girls maintained their focus. It was 0-0 through the first half. They had a couple great opportunities. We had some opportunities, and then finally we were able to put one in with about 8 minutes left. We were able to hold on, thankfully, and get our first W of the season.
All right, so my next question for you, Coach, is what is your game plan going into games, and how do you want your girls playing game in and game out?
Well, honestly, that depends on the opponent. For the most part, the opponents that we played tried to attack us from the outside down the flanks. What we wanted to do was try and cut down any type of crossing into the box and protect the middle of the field. And then offensively, if we can get a counterattack and put some passes together and try and put one in. But mainly we played more defensive to keep the games close and then take our opportunities when they arose.
So this is an important question. So how have the girls improved from the beginning of the end of the season? How's your confidence grown in each individual play?
I think they've come together as a team. They've played better team soccer. In the beginning of the year, I think we had a lot of, we played more individual, more kick and run. And now as the season has progressed, we're connecting passes, and we're playing a more fluid style, more connected style, which has helped us have a little bit of success in the second half of the year.
So my final question for you, Coach, is what is your assessment on the season as a whole?
I think it's been a success. I've seen a lot of the girls develop, and I think that there are many of them that will be able to take that next step and help out the varsity program in the years to come. So I think that what we've done and cultivated on the JV level is to build a strong foundation for the program moving forward, and I think the future is bright for Herricks soccer.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Bazelia. Now we'll move on to one of the standout players, Megan O'Hara.
I'm here with
Megan.
Alright, when was the point of your life where you thought that you would actually take soccer seriously?
Probably when I was graduating middle school, so 8th grade.
What position do you play, and what made you want to play, and do you enjoy it?
I play center mid attacking, and I like this position because it's just like I'm able to like play defense and also like have a chance to score. And I love playing soccer just because it's like fun for me and it's something to do.
In your time with Herricks, who do you think was your biggest rival to play against?
Probably our biggest rival was Mepam, because they were a very strong team, but they also had like the same record as us.
Very competitive. Thank you.
That's all from Megan O'Hara.
Now we move on to another standout player, Brianna Griffith.
Hi, I'm here with
Brianna.
What challenges do you face following a loss, and how do you get back out there?
Some challenges we face after a loss were maybe like being like upset that we lost, and some ways we overcame this were like at practicing, just like really trying to work on like what we did wrong during the games.
How do you compete against top level competition in your division?
When we were competing against top level competition, I think we really just had to have like a good warm up and like make sure we went in with like an open mind, so we weren't like going in like we're gonna lose, so we could try our best still.
When you're facing the better athletes, we'll say, saying taller and faster, how do you counteract that?
I guess just trying to like learn their techniques so you can maybe like stop their opportunities.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brianna.
Lastly, we'll move on to Ellie Stanzo.
All right, so how do you assess your season as a whole?
I think it was like good, but not the best because we didn't win too many games and we didn't communicate, so we just didn't play as good as we should have, but we were on the field.
All right, so my final question is, how do you feel now, like having a season under your belt, like going into next season, like how have you like changed throughout the year?
I think we'll do better next year because we learned everything new that like we know what we struggle on, and I think we'll do better with that moving on forward next year. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you to the girls JV soccer team for your time. We wish you the best of luck next season.
The girls cross country team had a great season with lots of help from Julia Yam and Viddy Shaw. They improved their times every week, allowing them to go to the state qualifiers and then having some of the best times in the county championships. Now to Ryder with Coach Caruso.
Hello, this is Coach Caruso of the Herricks girls cross country team, and he's here for this interview. So, Coach Caruso, what made you decide to coach cross country, and what's like the philosophy you're trying to teach the kids?
That's a great question, Ryder. Growing up, I was a runner. I ran in high school and college and had a passion for middle and long distance running. When I had the opportunity to coach the Herricks girls cross country team, I was very looking forward to that position.
So, Coach Caruso, how long have you been coaching cross country here at Herricks?
This is my 19th year coaching the varsity cross country team.
Next question is, who is the athlete that helped bring the most success to the team?
On the girls cross country team, we had two very strong leaders this year, senior Julia Yam and junior Vidhi Shah. Both of those girls were great leaders for our program.
Who are some athletes that helped maybe on and off the track?
So a lot of the girls took a lot of encouragement to help the other runners become stronger throughout the year. Sophomore Isabel Soy was a great leader and helped out the younger athletes this season.
Final question, what were some ups and downs throughout the season that maybe helped and maybe were able to bring the team up?
Okay. The season started off really strong, but as each week went on, the athletes did improve. We got faster and more competitive. The ultimate goal was to have a strong finish in our championship race. The girls cross country team, many of them ran their best race. They qualified to move on from the county championships to the New York State qualifying race.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Caruso. Now to standout senior runner Julia Yam.
Hi, I'm Jake Johnson. This is Julia Yam, girls cross country captain. My first question for you is, what challenges you faced over the season and how did you overcome them?
One challenge I faced is not being very happy about my time, but I overcame it by just trying not to look at the time on my watch and just running my race.
Who would you say leads the team to success and how do they do it?
I don't know if there's one person that leads the team to success, but I do think definitely Mr. Caruso, Mr. Kramer, they give us a lot of motivation for all of the team members to do better.
And lastly, how would you say that cross country and track are different and what makes cross country more enticing?
Cross country and track are different because cross country is long distance and track is on the track where you could compete in different events. I think cross country is more enticing because it's not on the track and you get to run all over the woods and it's really fun.
Thank you, Julia. Our last player, Vidhi Shah.
Hi, I'm Leo with Vidhi Shah from cross country. My first question for you is, how do you mentally prepare for each race?
So to mentally prepare for every race, I try to remember the fact that your race and your time doesn't define who you are, and everyone has good days and bad days.
And then my next question is, how do you physically prepare for a race?
To physically prepare, I always make sure to stretch before and after I run, and to make sure my body's ready to run.
What methods of coaching inspires you to be the best runner you can be?
So I feel like having words of encouragement from our coach before and after every race helps us to remember that we're here for a reason and we can do this.
Thank you very much.
Big thank you to the girls cross country team. We wish you best of luck in your future races.
Hello, Herricks. I'm Joe Vogel, and today we're going to be covering a portion of the fall sports played this year at Herricks High School. We have JV cheerleading, JV girls volleyball, and varsity swim. Now, on to varsity swim with Johnny. Enjoy!
I'm Johnny from the TV studio. I'm going to be interviewing Kyra from the swimming team. What's the best piece of advice you've gained from your coaches?
The best piece of advice I've gained from my coaches is probably to focus on what's happening at the moment and not focus on the future, because it's important to focus on what's happening and not get distracted while you're swimming.
Yeah, that's good. Tell us your current personal best in various events.
My two best events are the 200 IM and the 100 breaststroke. In the 200 IM, I go 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and in the 100 breaststroke, I go 1 minute and 7 seconds.
That's very cool. What do you see yourself accomplishing in 5 to 10 years?
In 5 to 10 years, I hope to be swimming in college, and it's always been a big dream of mine to swim in a big college.
Describe the qualities you believe an effective coach must have.
I think an effective coach must be caring, and they must be determined to help you with everything you need. They should always be there for you, support you throughout your entire athletic journey.
Alright, yeah, that's very good. Thank you for joining us today, Kyra.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Johnny from the TV studio. I'm here with Natalie from the swim team, and we're going to be doing an interview. Why is this your favorite sport to play, and why?
Swimming is my favorite sport because I've done it since I was really little, and it clears my head, and I'm able to like do what I'm good at and get it done.
Yeah, that's nice. Which strengths do you believe you have that make you a great athlete?
I feel like I'm dedicated in getting the work behind swimming done, and I'm able to push my teammates to do the best that we can in our like performances.
Yeah, it's good to have some leadership. Is there a coach or athlete that you look up to as a role model, and why?
Not really, but I feel like I kind of look up to my teammates because they're able to help me in practices and competitions.
It's always good to have good teammates. How would your coaches and teammates describe you?
I feel like maybe independent and determined to get all the work done.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good teammate and leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Johnny from the TV studio. I'm here with Coach Sullivan, and today we're going to be talking about the swim team. What inspired you to coach your sport?
I've been on swim teams since I was about 6 years old, so I've swam my whole life. I swam through high school, and I started coaching summer leagues right out of college, so I knew when I came to Herricks I wanted to get involved in the swim team somehow.
Yeah, it's nice to do something that you've been doing basically your whole life.
Right, yeah.
What expectations do you have for your athletes on and off the field?
I would say my first expectation is respect for themselves, for their teammates, coaches, their opponents, and I think to be able to put in 100% effort every day. I know every practice and every meet is not going to be your best work, but I want to know that you tried and that you're working to improve your skill set and really putting in the effort to help you and your teammates.
Yeah, it's good to also teach them character, yeah. What are 3 reasons you like being a part of a team sport?
3 reasons. I would say I like the camaraderie of it. I would say both the boys and the girls swim teams become really like a family throughout the seasons. So I like to see them grow and develop as friends and teammates. I also like the competitive nature of a team sport, being able to support your teammates and cheer and yell and get to see that growth in each of the athletes individually. And I would say third, best part of a team sport would be probably just being able to work on yourself as an athlete and be able to grow like physical strength, mental strength. I think that's really important. It teaches you how to be flexible, both physically and mentally.
How many of your athletes are planning to play their sport in college?
For this year, I'm not sure we have too many that are going to go play in college. I think some of them might be looking at club teams, but over the last few years, we've sent a few swimmers to different schools. Last year, we graduated 3 seniors who went on to MIT, Cornell, and RTI to swim. So we have a few swimmers all over the place.
What is the best part about coaching?
Best part about coaching, I think, especially for swimming, because we're a unique sport in the fact that we only have a varsity team, there's no JV. So I get to see these athletes anywhere from 4 to 6 years, and I get to see them grow as people, as teenagers, as athletes, and I think it's really special and fun to develop that relationship with them and watch them grow in that way.
Yeah. How many of your athletes are returning next year?
Aside from my graduating seniors, I'm expecting a 100% return rate. I will say it's pretty rare that anyone leaves our team once they're on it, which is great. I think that says a lot about their character and their support for one another, so hoping for 100%.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now onto our final segment with Francis. We're going to be covering JV volleyball.
Hi Ashley, my name is Francis Marindran and I'll be asking you a few questions today if that's okay. Alright, so my first question is, what is the best piece of advice you've heard from your coach?
The best piece of advice I heard from my coach is to have fun on the court and don't take things too hard if you mess up.
My second question is, what do you expect from your teammates on the court?
The things I expect from my teammates is to do their best and mostly to have fun, even if things are going downhill.
So I know it's a common theme is you want to keep things lighthearted, you know, things don't make things too seriously, you know, at the end of the day it's just a game, you know? So my last question is, how would you deal with bad sportsmanship from an opposing team?
I would tell the opponents that they should stop what they're doing, and like it's okay if things are going bad or like just
Poorly in general?
poorly. Yeah. And just like to have fun since it's just a game and we're just learning from each other at the same time.
Kind of like a little community.
Yeah.
Well, that was great, Ashley. That was Francis Marindrin, and Miss Marindrin, this is Miss Kenny, and I'll be asking her a few questions if you don't mind. All right, Miss Kenny, my first question is, what do you enjoy most from coaching new and promising athletes in your sport?
I've been coaching high school sports for many years now, and I think one of the great things about coaching at the JV level is that the girls come in with so much enthusiasm and energy and ability to learn and soak up all the little skills and nuances of the game, and also learning how to be a part of a team.
That's a great take. What quality do you wish all your athletes to embody?
I think one of the most important qualities of a young athlete is to just be able to come in every day, work hard, give your best effort, and take away one or two skills that you wish you learned either throughout the day or just throughout the season. Exactly.
So, what expectations do you have for your athletes on and off the ice?
Expectations, mostly to give their best effort in and out of the classroom and in and out of the gym for us. And I think just to treat their teammates the way they would want to be treated. You know, that simple golden rule kind of is a standard for not only just in the classroom and in life, but on the court as well and with their teammates. And I think that as long as they come away with feeling good about themselves and being part of the team, I think that's important for me.
So what's your stance on the academic performance of the students as well as their athletic performance?
Their academics and
so the performance of your students academically, how important is that compared to their athletic performance? So with their grades, curriculum, how important would you say take that for your students?
well, again, I think it's the same expectation that I would have of them in the gym. As long as they're giving their best effort, it's very hard to manage a full season with 6 days a week, practices and games. And as long as they're putting as much time into their studies as they are in the gym, and they're doing their best, then the result should be there.
So my final question is, what makes your sport the best sport at Herricks High School?
Volleyball is the best. I think the program here is terrific. The varsity's won 3 conference championships in the last few years. The girls are just really good, solid people. They're fun to be around. They love the game, and I think they spread that passion not only within each other, but also to the community. We had that great big pink day, and the stands are really electric when we have our home matches.
That's great. Those are great answers, Miss Kenny.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll be seeing you in the studio, Joe.
That's the end of this segment. Thank you for watching, Herricks, and I hope you enjoyed.